Foxtrot Hotel, second right, the parking apron marshaled away.
Roger, second right.
Foxtrot uniform, in your turn, traffic is passing clear of you, 4 miles to the northeast.
Roger.
5023, Litchfield 47, flight level 230, estimate Daventry 52. November Juliet, Cliff holding point, runway 08, the QNH 006.
At London Airport, air traffic control will soon have to handle over 1,000 aircraft a day, more than one a minute in busy periods. Nowadays, the captain of an airliner depends on flight instruments and air traffic control to get him safely from one place to another. What does this mean? Imagine cars moving at aircraft speed and unable to stop. Then think of steering a car just from the instruments on the dashboard and, like the pilot, relying on someone else to keep you clear of other traffic. True, there is a lot more space in the air than on the ground, but this is the sort of thing pilots have to do, and they need the help of air traffic control to do it. ATC services are provided in every major country. Where there is a lot of air traffic, these services are highly organized, using complex equipment and techniques that are constantly being improved to keep pace with speed and density of air movements.
Fox uniform, you'll clear on behind him. Take the next right also.
Thank you.
Hello, John.
In the early days, when aircraft were few in number, there was really little need for control from the ground. A few aircraft using small and scattered airfields flew more or less where they pleased. But as numbers increased, the need for control became obvious, at least close to the aerodromes. The simple solution was to make aircraft fly a circuit pattern. Before aircraft carried radio, they had to rely on seeing symbols on the ground which identified the aerodrome and indicated such things as its state of serviceability and the direction for landing. Some pilots still depend on these symbols. Here, at a private aerodrome, you can see the landing tee being moved round to denote a change in wind direction. Where small aircraft carry no radio, the aerodrome controller has to communicate with them by lamp signals. Obviously, this has its limitations. Many, however, do now have radio and can carry on a two-way conversation.
Control, this is Golf, Alpha Tango, Kilo Foxtrot. Requesting details for a 1 hour duration local flight. Over.
Roger, Golf, Alpha Tango, Kilo Foxtrot. Taxi for runway 06. The right-hand pattern. Security is 1019.
06, right-hand pattern, 1019.
Kilo Fox, correct. You'll be taking off to the left-hand side of the concrete runway 06.
Kilo Fox, taking off to the left-hand side of concrete runway 06.
Roger, Kilo Fox, you're clear to take off. The surface wind is 060 at 15 knots. Be advised, one Ambassador freighter journey shortly overhead at 2,000 feet.
Roger.
Roger, Kilo Fox.
At some aerodromes, there may be 2 or 3 aircraft flying in the circuit, waiting to land. This is all right in good weather, but pilots flying blind need a safer and better system. And so racetrack patterns came into being with aircraft separated vertically. That's to say, stacked one above the other, and descending from one level to the next only when told to do so by air traffic control. The introduction of this racetrack pattern and the continuing rise in aircraft speeds meant that aircraft had to be brought under control sometime before they were due to reach an aerodrome. Only then could the approach controllers, as they're called, see that aircraft entered the pattern at safe heights and were kept clear of other aircraft taking off or overflying. So approach control starts at least 10 miles from the aerodrome. And ground radar helps the controller to keep the traffic moving safely without unnecessary delays.
Roger, make a left turn now, heading 120, climbs 2,000 feet.
Roger, Alpha Papa, turning left now, heading 120, climbing to 2,000 feet.
On the screen, the controller can see just where aircraft are.
Alpha Papa is identified 8 miles east-southeast of Herne.
Alpha Papa, 8 miles east, southeast of Herne.
Alpha Papa, continue heading 050, maintain 2,000 feet, QNH 1004.
Alpha Papa, heading 050 at 2,000 feet, QNH 1004.
Alpha Papa, this will be radar verting to runway 26.
Alpha Papa, runway 26.
Here, two aircraft are converging, so the controller must warn the pilots and advise them what to do.
Alpha Papa is unidentified traffic, crossing left to right, 11 o'clock, range 5 miles.
Nothing in sight.
Roger, Alpha Papa, turn left immediately, heading 350, avoiding action.
Turning left, heading 350.
Alpha Papa, it's your turn. Aircraft is 3 miles to the northeast of here.
Roger, Alpha Papa, still can't see anything. Must be well above me.
Alpha Papa, now clear of traffic, turn right, heading 050.
Roger, Alpha Papa. Now turning on to 050.
During the 1950s, civil air transport grew rapidly and became an international business carrying passengers between all the big cities of the world. It soon became clear that, as well as at the aerodromes, control would be needed en route, and that routes would have to be rationalized to reduce the complex interweaving of flight paths. But civil airlines didn't have the air to themselves. The armed forces had, as they still have, a large number of aircraft engaged on many different types of flying. Also, the number of privately owned civil aircraft began to grow. To meet all these needs, airspace was divided into 3 layers, like a cake, each with its own set of rules. Lower airspace, which all aircraft must, of course, use when taking off or landing. Middle airspace, which contains the invisible airways marked by navigation beacons and used like roads of the air to connect major cities. And upper airspace, at first used only by military aircraft, but soon to be shared with commercial aircraft as civil jets were introduced. The first civil airway over Britain linking London and Europe with the North Atlantic came into use in 1950. Others followed, building up into the network in use today. 3 air traffic control centers were established to control the airways over the United Kingdom, and the area of radar cover has been steadily extended over the years. Today, civil and military radar covers most of the UK and surrounding sea. Airways are used chiefly by commercial and military transport aircraft, while nearly all other types of military aircraft use the spaces in between. Control of both types of traffic is coordinated by the National Air Traffic Control Services, using civil and RAF controllers. The former running the airway system, and the latter providing much of the radar service elsewhere. The Royal Air Force also provides air-sea rescue services in collaboration with HM Coast Guard and the National ATC services. Some airlines operate from aerodromes outside the airway system for passengers, such as these, who live some distance from a major airport. Private aircraft are also getting airborne in ever greater numbers, and they have their special needs. When military aircraft want to cross an airway, this calls for close liaison between the airways and off-airways controllers of the national ATC services. The differing needs of commercial and military aircraft in the upper airspace are taken care of in the same way. By speeding up a radar picture of air traffic, one can compare the steady flow of aircraft using airways with the flight patterns of those outside, a clear demonstration of the need for different types of control. Since 1950, the density of commercial air traffic has roughly tripled. Aircraft cruising speeds have increased by about the same factor, and both trends are expected to continue. So ATC has to go on doing more and more in less and less time. It is already using computers and making increasing use of automatic techniques with the introduction of such devices as the labeled and touch wire displays seen here. Air traffic control came into being to meet a need, but with the growing demand for more and faster aircraft, this need is changing fast. Tomorrow's air traffic control system is being shaped today.